Hi guys, Becca here with today's video lecture focusing on applying images to curved and vertical surfaces. Up until now, we have been using surfaces that consist of a single flat polygon or face. Here we advance to applying repeating patterns to complex curved surfaces and learn to do it in such a way that the pattern remains seamless after it is applied. How do you go about mapping an image to a curved surface in SketchUp depends on what type you have. With that in mind, curved surfaces fall into two general categories, which can be found on page 226 of your book. One is single direction curves. A cylinder is a classic example of a surface that curves only in one direction. Knowing this technique is great for branding objects. The second is multi-direction curves. Terrain, drapery, and furniture are all prime examples of surfaces that curve in more than one direction at a time. This type of curve requires a vertical surface to rest the image on first. I would love for you to practice with me, so from D2L download these two files. The SketchUp file last name exercise 14, image on curved surfaces, and the image file ACC logo. We will try two methods to add the ACC logo to the different forms. You can read about the first method, adjacent faces, on pages 227 to 228 of your book. This method is great for branding on curved surfaces such as bottles. The adjacent faces method requires the hidden geometry to be showing because we need to paint each face of the curved object in sequential order from left to right. Turn on the hidden geometry by clicking the View toolbar, then mousing down to Hidden Geometry or Show Hidden Geometry. Get into Edit mode of the cylinder. Select a face. We need to have a face selected before we import the image. We will import the texture just as we do when importing any other type of texture by opening the File menu, choosing Import, and selecting the ACC logo as a texture. Apply the image to the far left corner of the face on an endpoint. Move your mouse to scale the image to any size you want, then click either an edge or point. I will click the upper right corner endpoint because that is how big this image needs to be. Now we will sample the image and apply it to all of the faces of the cylinder in sequential order. We need to get the sample paint dropper from the Materials toolbar, or there is a shortcut for that. Click the shortcut B for bucket, then hold down the Alt key. You can see the cursor changes to the sample paint. Click the image and lift up the key on the keyboard. Now paint all of the faces, one by one from left to right. Go in order from where you started. Look what happens if you skip one face and try to go back. The pattern is messed up, so that's why we go in order from left to right. When you get to the end, there should be an empty face acting like a space from the beginning and end of the logo. Paint it with a color, not the default color, but find a white. Turn off the hidden geometry when you're done, and great job! If the scale of your image is smaller, you can push-pull down the cylinder to match it, or push-pull it up to fit a larger scaled image. But voila, you're done. The second part of this exercise is found on pages 228 to 230 of your book. This is the projected texture method, and one I use often while modeling in the architecture and interior design industries. This method is great for any complex curved surfaces, such as landscaping or fabric on chairs. Why can't we just add the image to this marquee? Why does there need to be a special way to do this? Well, I'll show you why. I get into Edit mode, triple-click the marquee to get all the faces, and grab the image from the Materials bucket. When I paint it, you see the logo is all crazy. It's not a clear logo. The first step to project an image on a vertical surface, such as this marquee, is to create a vertical face to put the image on. A vertical face is provided for you here. See how it is up on the blue axis instead of just the red and green? That's what I mean by vertical surface. We do not need to re-import the image because it's already in our model, so simply paint this vertical surface. This happens sometimes that the image is reversed. I will context click on the face and choose reverse faces, then repaint the face. The next step is extremely important to this process. You need to project the texture. We will right-click on the texture, arrow down to texture, then choose projected. You can recheck that you projected the texture by right-clicking again, going down to texture, and making sure projected is checked. Once your image or texture has been projected, we will paint the marquee. Get into edit mode and triple-click to select all the faces. We need to resample the texture we just projected. If we simply paint with the existing image, it will not work correctly because this one is not projected. So make sure to sample the projected texture. Remember, we can do this without even seeing the image and paint the marquee. There we go. The image is projected onto the marquee. Oh, hello, another surprise. This sometimes happens when projecting a texture. It looks fine in edit mode, but getting out of edit mode, it's not the correct size. There's a quick way to fix this. Explode the group, then immediately regroup it. There we go. The image is not lined up correctly, so we will need to fix that on the vertical surface. We cannot do it on the curved surface because it did not house the original texture. Do you remember how to position the texture? Right-click on it, arrow down to texture, then position. I'm going to move it a smidge to the right and hit enter. Then resample and repaint the marquee. You can also change the size of it in the Edit tab of the Materials toolbar. Go up to 50 feet. Oh, that's big. I will go down to 24 feet. You can also save this projected texture so you have one image that is projected and another that is not. Context click on the texture and choose Make Unique Texture. You can see in your Materials toolbar in the In Model Textures, there is an ACC logo and an ACC logo number 1, which is the projected texture. Delete the rectangle when you're done positioning the texture. It's no longer needed. The marquee has a bunch of edges still showing that we don't want there. Make sure your hidden geometry is not showing. Okay, I'm good there. Now I will soften or smooth the edges to get rid of the extras. Not in edit mode of the group, context click. Arrow down to soften smooth edges and look for the dialog box. If you were on a Windows computer, this is in the default tray. Always check soften coplanar first, then you can move your slider to the right to soften more edges. Don't forget, you can also hide edges and profiles using the View menu. Click the Exercise 14 Chair Scene tab. The remainder of the exercise is to practice the projected texture method on this chair. You will use the image file Chair Modulating Stripe and add it to the seat back and cushion of the chair. You also need to add textures, materials to the rest of the chair because we do not leave anything the default color. This is a bit tough because whomever created the chair did not create groups or components. A good lesson. Complete the rest of the exercise on your own after reading through all the instructions first. You will upload only an image to D2L. Your final exercise of the semester is Exercise 15, Design from Scratch. You have recently started creating items without much instruction, such as the kitchen project and track lighting assignment. This one takes you even further by having you create a real-life object completely on your own. Let's read through the assignment together. Objective: using the skills you have learned this semester, create an item to add to the exterior of your final project, a 2-story residence. Make something unique to add it to your design portfolio. Expand your knowledge and create something out of your comfort zone. Requirements: you must draw the item without using models from the 3D warehouse or our class exercises. All objects must be a group or component based on what is in your model. All objects must be placed on appropriately named layers and tags. No groups or components should remain on layer 0 or untagged. Note, you might only have one layer or tag. The design must be drawn to a correct scale and/or size based on the object, so do some research on it. Erase the 2D person in the drawing and any reference to them in the Materials and Components toolbars. This design must not just be a simple shape. You must create something with detail. Challenge yourself and have fun. Because this object will be added to the exterior of a house, it must fit within a 20 feet by 30 feet area. Name your file, last name, exercise 15, my design. Upload the completed SketchUp file to the D2L assignment box. Choose from any of the following objects to create. Please send me an email for approval before starting something that is not on this list. Be creative and have fun with this assignment. That's it for this week's video lecture. As always, email me if you need help. Bye for now.